Hi everybody, it's I. I have to create this video in order to have others understand the plight of anyone who uses the VA for their care and the hoops we have to jump through in order to fight for our rights to get the best care for us possible. I'm going to explain what happened to me, what I've been through. It is not easy. Um, and it's challenging because I tried to explain recently that VA community care is a service that veterans have where if they don't have the service you need at the VA for anything, you can go to a doctor on the outside. And for me, because I've had 2 major back surgeries and I have severe arthritis, I was approved to go outside of the VA for acupuncture, massage, and chiropractic, which allows me to walk and move without a significant pain. And recently I received a letter that I was denied my future visits, and I was just finally on the up and up. I was finally on the mend. I finally was able to allow people to touch my lower back without me screaming in pain. So I fought, I appealed, and that's the state we're in. Someone says, well, why don't you fight? And I don't think you folks understand what it means as a veteran to fight. I was brutally raped while serving in the United States Army. I was 19 years old. It was by a fellow soldier who was serving in my same unit. I did not talk about it. We didn't have support groups. Military sexual trauma did not exist. There was no rating for PTSD as a result of MST. It's come a long way. So we didn't have resources. You had chaplains, but that's, when I was initially harassed in the military, every single day by men and women, the incident took place where I had been taking a shower. A male medic walked in and watched me shower. I screamed. He finally left. I told, and nothing happened to him. And I had told an NCO, and she said to me, doesn't matter if you tell, they won't do anything. So I told, they didn't do anything. So when my rape occurred, I knew the military wouldn't do anything. So I lived in silence for over 20 years. I finally walked into the VA in, I don't know, 2010. And I said, I can't live like this anymore. I said, I'm not going to take my life. I just can't live like this anymore, because I was waking up with panic attacks and headaches, and I just couldn't. So I went inpatient to the VA for 3 months. I went through cognitive processing therapy, and for the first time in 20 years, I was told I had to write down my assault, which I did. It was about a chapter, 14 to 20 pages, something like that. It was a lot of pages that I hand wrote. And you write it all down, and then you sit in front of the practitioner, and she says, okay, read it out loud. And so you have to relive, not only while you're writing it, but you relive it in front of your therapist. And so I did. I sobbed, broke down. I couldn't get through it at times, and she said, just take your time. So it took hours for me to get through it. And then she says, oh, by the way, now you're going to rewrite it, and you're going to rewrite it with sight, sounds, and such. And I had to rewrite it and relive it. So the VA has all of my records. It was initially approved at 30%. I appealed. It took years. I got 70%, and I appealed. And finally, after many more years, they granted me 100%. And through each appellant process, you have to sit in front of more doctors. You have to sit in front of more therapists. You have to go in front of a board. In one case, I had to sit in front of a television screen because the doctor was in a different state. So I had to go through that again. And a lot of veterans don't have someone to support them. They suffer in silence. And there comes a point in time when you don't feel you can do it anymore. I even asked a friend when I got 70%, I said, if I appeal, will I get 100? She said, probably not. So there's so many other people that say probably not. It is excruciating. And for people to say all you got to do is fight, it's not, that's all we do is fight. We fight while we're in the military. We fight to protect ourselves. And men and women have been assaulted in the military. And then you get out and you're living with all of this. And employers don't understand. They don't give you, you don't have enough PTO to take time off to go to therapy every week. So you can finally start to talk about what you've gone through during your service. It's not just you have to fight. It's some people fight to the death and they pass away before they are granted any sort of relief or rating. Some people just end their lives. Veteran suicide is really high. So for people to say just go fight, my God, I don't want to relive this trauma again and again and again. And that's what you have to do. When I was granted 100%, I was sitting at my desk at work. I was working for the county. My VA caseworker called. She said, you're at 100%. And I broke down behind my desk, bent over it, and I just started sobbing. I couldn't even speak. I was speechless. And I was at work, and people were like, what's going on? And I couldn't speak. And I got up, told them I was going to the VA, told them I needed 2 weeks of vacation, which was coming to me, or a week or two, I don't remember. And that was in 2017, and I left, and I didn't go back, and I was finally able to take care of myself. So for people to say, well, you just got to fight, some people lose their lives fighting this battle. But for veterans to lose their care along the way and be denied care for services which have been approved, it's unbelievable. So that's all I've got to say. I'm not looking for sympathy. I don't want to be only known. My identity is not only in my traumas. I am much more as a result of my traumas. I'm only saying this to get the word out so people start to understand. It's not easy. So that's all I'm going to say about it, and I'll be back.